Hey, it's Jay. Welcome back to my channel. You're probably wondering why the visual quality isn't as good as usual. It's because I was just recording a video that required me to be close up and my other camera doesn't have a wide angle lens and so it wouldn't work. And I just didn't feel like switching over. So you'll just have to work with this for today's video and then I'll be back with the other camera. But today I'm going to be doing part 1 of the VNA Virgin New Adventures, which is a Doctor Who novel series. I think that focuses mostly on classic novels. But this was a tag created by my friend Mason over at the GD256. I'll put his channel and original video down below, so make sure to check that out. And as a note, I also don't know who I'm tagging, and so I will put them down in the description, so make sure to check them out too, whoever I end up tagging. But there's several questions here, and I have a lot of books next to me because there's a lot, again, part 1, because there's like 60-something books and he's crazy. So here we go. Okay, so the first question is Genesys. Name a book that doesn't do adult content correctly. I chose The Prophet of Yonwood by Jean DePro. This is the 3rd book in the City of Ember series. It's also a prequel. I love this book. It's the first prequel I ever read. And the reason I chose this for this question was because there's a mom who let her 12-year-old daughter go with her aunt to a town to clean up like their mom's house and stuff, and the aunt just lets her niece do whatever and talk to whoever. Like, she's 12 and she's like talking to these strangers, and like, granted, they're all like really nice, but I don't feel like that's like a responsible thing to do, a responsible adult thing to do. The next book is Exodus, and name a story that seems to completely shift plots halfway through. This book I'm using for another question, but that is Never Always Sometimes by Adi Alsaid. Why I chose this was because this is a story like best friends to lovers, but then it's not, spoiler, because the guy goes from like being in love with his best friend, and then like halfway through it goes to him being like hardcore crushing on this other like random girl, and like that's fine and all, but then like the plot just kind of unravels from there, and it's like, then what was the freaking point? And I didn't appreciate that. The third question is Apocalypse. Name the most forgettable book you've ever read, if you can remember. There are a lot of them, but the problem is I can't remember, and so I'm just going to choose Doctor Who Monster Miscellany, Alien Facts for Space Travelers. I got this when I was in junior high, I believe, when my dad and I went to the Experience Music Project in Seattle, Washington. It has a new name now, I don't know what it's called. But I got this because Doctor Who, and I like wanted some sort of thing, but it has like a whole bunch of facts and stuff, and oh god, the binding, about various creatures. Oh, there's the master. I love him. I love that master. And like, it's really cool, but oh god, but I haven't read it in years, and I've only read it once, and so I don't remember hardly anything about it. But I felt it was appropriate to have some sort of Doctor Who thing here, and so take that, Mason. Revelation. Which book has the best finale? I should probably get the finale book and not the first book. Gregor the Overlander, The Underland Chronicles by Suzanne Collins. Yes, The Hunger Games. Suzanne Collins is a middle grade adventure which I love, and there are very few books that I think where the finales are better, but Gregor and the Code of Claw is so good because there's like codes and stuff, and like Gregor learns like how to use echolocation, and there's a lot of cool like characters, and I can't even, it's just, I need to reread this series. I listen to it on audiobook occasionally, but like not in the right order. Times Crucible. What book do you love that you would never recommend to other people? I had a hard time with this question, but I finally chose Fallen Star by Jessica Sorensen. I read this in like middle school or junior high, and I loved it when I was younger, but now it's like really cringy because it's like this paranormal romance. The only paranormal romance I've really ever read, and like it was so cool when I was younger, and like I loved the love interest. It's just like, it's not my style anymore, and so I wouldn't recommend it. Warhead. What book holds a bigger story in its pages and handles it really well? I chose Sahil Girls by Claire Legrand. This is like about three girls who have to like find this monster that keeps like devouring and eating people, specifically girls, teenage girls. Why I chose this for this question is because I think it tackles like a lot of predatory topics, topics of like predatory. I can't English right now. Adults, and like how, like it discusses how parents and like adult authority figures can either help or like make it worse. And I need to reread it, honestly. Witchmark. Name a novel which does its genre a disservice. This is the one where I did it again. Never Always Sometimes by Adias Alsad. I chose this because it's supposed to be a romance, and it didn't like a YA contemporary romance, which I guess it technically can like pass as that. But like the trope, like the main trope was supposed to be friends to lovers, and it totally like erased that. And so I think it did its genre a disservice. Granted, I haven't read a lot of YA romance, but still. Nightshade. Name your favorite standalone work. My favorite standalone is hands down 180 Seconds by Jessica Park. This is the first new adult novel I ever read. It's about this girl who is in college, and she's like kind of like, she doesn't trust people because she spent her whole life bouncing from foster care to foster care house, and I like related a lot to her, and I thought this was really cute. The romance was really cute, and it was just really cute. I did a whole review on it like last year, the year before, and Love and War. Name a novel with an emotional ending. Don't spoil it. This one was kind of hard as well, but because I read this recently, I remember being just so not grief-stricken, but like immediately needing the next book and not being able to do it, and that being like apparently I can't word today. But I chose Scythe by Neil Shusterman. This was an amazing book. I love the world building, I love the characters, I love the writing, and like the end was just a whole bunch of action, but it was heartbreaking because what I expected to happen and what I wanted to happen didn't happen, but that's totally okay because like there's like a glimpse of hope in the future that it could still happen. But I got really attached to the characters, and so with the things that happened, it broke my heart. Transit. Name a controversial book and give your opinion on it. This one was hard as well because I don't have a lot of controversial books, or I haven't read a lot of controversial books, mainly because they're controversial. But I have read Harry Potter and the Cursed Child, the teleplay, the screenplay, the play, the script. I've read the script for it. But I have read the script for it, and I hate it. A lot of people like just ignore the fact that this is canon because it's shit. It's downright shit, and it just goes back on a whole bunch of world building that Rowling did, and it's so heteronormative, and it's just bad. Like Mason described it as the best fan fiction he ever read, and I have to agree with them because this is penultimate question. The highest science. What is the most fun you've had reading a novel? This is a two-way tie between The Lightning Thief by Rick Riordan and The Trials of Apollo, The Hidden Oracle by Rick Riordan. I say Lightning Thief because I remember just giggling a whole bunch the first time I read that, and I like read through the entire like Percy Jackson and the Olympians, and then the majority of Heroes of Olympus up to whatever it was that was out at the time when I was in 9th grade, in like a week and a half because I loved it so much. And Hidden Oracle because I was literally dancing around my room when I found out that, spoilers, Nico and Will had been together, and Nico was like, "Pardon my boyfriend, blah blah blah," and I literally screamed and I was dancing around my room, and it was so fun. I was so happy. And the last question, The Pit. Name a book which nearly or did turn you off a series. I feel so bad about this one because the concept is so cool and the covers are amazing, and Mason likes the series, and so I'm sorry about that. I feel so bad. But I DNF'd the first book and I was like halfway done. And and it was upsetting for multiple reasons. Like I like the description, the cover. The girl has pink hair. But the characters were just so stupid to me, and like, and Dorothy Must Die by Danielle Page. I had a lot of issues with the writing and the characters and the pacing, and like, it felt like to me that the writer had just like the characters were like, oh, I don't know, like forcefully being mysterious, and not like, it didn't feel natural. And I had to DNF it, which is really upsetting because I was looking forward to this so much, and it's the first book in the series, and I just can't. So I'm gonna definitely unhaul that probably. So that's all I've got for today. Make sure to check out Mason's channel and his video down below, and whoever the heck I tag. So if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to hit subscribe and ring the little bell so you can be notified whenever I upload. I upload every Wednesday, and I will see you in the next video, the day before I turn 21. Thanks for watching.